The world slept, oblivious. Inside the Vatican, shadows danced. It was March 24th, 2025, a date now etched in history. A hush fell over the assembled cardinals. They had been summoned with utmost secrecy. The air itself crackled with anticipation. Whispers rippled through the crowd. The weight of the moment pressed down on them. This was no ordinary gathering. This was a clandestine convocation, cloaked in the mystery of the night. The future of the Catholic Church hung in the balance. Why this clandestine meeting under the veil of darkness? Speculation ran rampant. Some pointed to security concerns, citing unspecified threats. Others whispered of ancient traditions, resurrected for this momentous occasion. The most intriguing theory spoke of deep-seated Vatican intrigue. Powerful factions, long accustomed to controlling the Holy See, were rumored to be maneuvering behind the scenes. This midnight coronation was perhaps a bold power play, designed to outmaneuver rivals and secure the papacy for their chosen candidate. The cardinals processed into the Sistine Chapel, their footsteps echoing in the cavernous space. The air was thick with a sense of solemnity and anticipation, as if the very walls of the chapel were holding their breath. Each cardinal, draped in their crimson robes, moved with a purpose, their faces a blend of contemplation and resolve. The dim lighting cast long shadows, adding to the mystique of the moment. This was not just any gathering. It was a conclave, a sacred assembly to elect the next leader of the Catholic Church. The atmosphere was thick with incense and expectation. The sweet, smoky tendrils of incense curled through the air, creating an almost otherworldly ambience. It was a scent that carried with it centuries of tradition, a reminder of the sacred rites and rituals that had taken place within these hallowed walls. The cardinals, each lost in their own thoughts, were united by a common purpose to discern the will of God and choose the next pope. At the altar, a simple wooden chair awaited its new occupant. This chair, unadorned and humble, stood in stark contrast to the grandeur of the surroundings. It was a powerful symbol, a reminder that the role of the Pope is one of service and humility. The chair was a silent witness to the weight of the responsibility that would soon rest upon the shoulders of the chosen cardinal. This was the throne of St. Peter, the symbol of papal authority for centuries. It was more than just a piece of furniture. It was a testament to the unbroken line of succession that stretched back to the Apostle Peter himself. The throne represented the continuity and stability of the Church, a beacon of faith and hope for millions around the world. All eyes turned to Cardinal Luis Antonio Tagle, his face a mixture of humility and resolve. Known for his deep compassion and intellectual prowess, Cardinal Tagle was a man who had dedicated his life to serving others. His journey to this moment had been one of unwavering faith and tireless devotion. As he stood before the assembly, there was a palpable sense of destiny in the air. He was a man known for his compassion, his intellect, and his unwavering faith. His work had touched countless lives, from the poorest of the poor to the highest echelons of society. Cardinal Tagle's ability to connect with people from all walks of life had earned him the respect and admiration of many. His speeches, filled with wisdom and empathy, had inspired hope and faith in the hearts of those who heard him. Tonight, destiny had called upon him to assume the mantle of leadership for the world's 1.3 billion Catholics. The weight of this responsibility was immense, but Cardinal Tagle stood ready to embrace it. As the conclave prepared to make its decision, the world watched with bated breath, knowing that the future of the Church rested in the hands of these devoted men. The night was cloaked in mystery, but within the Sistine Chapel, a new chapter in the history of the Catholic Church was about to be written. The Dean of the College of Cardinals, his face etched with the weight of tradition, stepped forward. His eyes, filled with a mixture of solemnity and reverence, scanned the room. The air was thick with anticipation, every breath held in collective suspense. This moment was the culmination of centuries of tradition, a ritual that had been performed countless times, yet each instance felt uniquely significant. In his hands he held the papal tiara, a towering symbol of papal authority adorned with precious jewels. Each gem on the tiara told a story of faith, sacrifice, and devotion. The tiara itself was more than just a piece of regalia. It was a beacon of the Church's enduring power and influence. The intricate craftsmanship spoke volumes about the dedication and skill of those who had fashioned it, their hands guided by a higher purpose. The ceremony was a tapestry of ancient rituals and prayers, a testament to the enduring legacy of the Catholic Church. Priests moved with practiced grace, their actions steeped in meaning and history. The flickering candles cast a warm glow, illuminating the sacred texts that had guided the faithful for generations. Each prayer, each chant, was a thread in the rich fabric of the Church's history, binding the present to the past. As the tiara was placed upon Cardinal Tagle's head, a collective gasp filled the Sistine Chapel. The weight of the moment was palpable, a profound silence enveloping the congregation. It was a silence that spoke louder than words, a silence that acknowledged the gravity of the occasion. The Cardinal, now transformed, bore the Mantle of Peter, a mantle that carried with it the hopes and prayers of millions. The silence was shattered by the ringing declaration, "Habemus Papam," we have a Pope. The words echoed through the hallowed halls, a proclamation that reverberated around the world. The crowd erupted in joyous celebration, their cheers a symphony of faith and hope. The church bells rang out, their peals a clarion call to the faithful, announcing the dawn of a new papacy. Luis Antonio Tagle, the once humble cardinal from the Philippines, was now Pope. His journey from the bustling streets of Manila to the sacred halls of the Vatican was a testament to his unwavering faith and dedication. As he stepped forward to greet the crowd, his eyes shone with a mixture of humility and resolve. The Mantle of Peter now rested on his shoulders, a mantle that he would wear with grace and dignity, guiding the Church into a new era. News of the midnight coronation spread like wildfire, igniting a firestorm of speculation and debate. From the bustling streets of Manila to the hallowed halls of the Vatican, the world watched in awe and apprehension. Joyous celebrations erupted across the Philippines, Tagle's homeland. Church bells pealed, fireworks lit up the night sky, and spontaneous street parties transformed cities into carnivals of faith. However, not all quarters greeted the news with open arms. Within the Vatican, whispers of discontent and unease rippled through the hallowed halls. Traditionalists, wary of Tagle's perceived progressive leanings, viewed his ascension with suspicion. The world held its breath. What would Pope Tagle's papacy bring? Would his leadership mark a radical departure from the past, or would it be a continuation of existing traditions? His first public address, delivered from the balcony of St. Peter's Basilica, offered glimpses of his vision for the Church. His words, imbued with warmth and humility, resonated far beyond the walls of Vatican City. "We are called to be instruments of God's love and mercy," he proclaimed, his voice echoing across the throngs gathered in St. Peter's Square. Pope Tagle's vision for the Church, as outlined in his first public addresses and writings, centered on themes of inclusivity, social justice, and interfaith dialogue. He called for a church that was a field hospital for the wounded, a beacon of hope for the marginalized, and a prophetic voice for the voiceless. His papacy promised to be one of dialogue and engagement, a departure from the more rigid stances of his predecessors. His emphasis on environmental stewardship, his outreach to the LGBTQ+ community, and his calls for greater financial transparency within the Vatican signaled a willingness to confront challenging issues head-on. Pope Tagle's approach to leadership is deeply rooted in his personal experiences and his profound empathy for those who suffer. He has often spoken about the importance of the Church being present in the lives of the sick and the needy, offering not just spiritual support, but also practical assistance. His visits to hospitals and his interactions with the sick are not just symbolic gestures. They are a testament to his commitment to living out the Gospel's call to care for the least among us. In his vision, the Church is not an isolated institution, but an integral part of the community, actively working to uplift those who are marginalized. Whether it's through his work with the homeless, his visits to refugee camps, or his engagement with marginalized groups, Pope Tagle has consistently demonstrated a hands-on approach to ministry. He believes that the Church must be a living, breathing entity that responds to the needs of the people it serves. One of the cornerstones of Pope Tagle's vision is interfaith dialogue. He has always emphasized the importance of building bridges between different faith communities. By engaging in meaningful conversations with leaders of various religions, he hopes to foster a spirit of mutual respect and understanding. His participation in interfaith events and his meetings with diverse community leaders are aimed at promoting peace and unity in a world that is often divided by religious differences. Environmental stewardship is another critical aspect of Pope Tagle's vision. He believes that caring for the earth is a moral responsibility that the Church must take seriously. His efforts to promote environmental awareness and his participation in initiatives aimed at protecting the planet are a reflection of his commitment to this cause. By planting trees, visiting nature reserves, and speaking at environmental conferences, he is leading by example and encouraging others to do the same. Pope Tagle's outreach to the LGBTQ+ community is a significant departure from the traditional stance of the Church. He has made it clear that everyone, regardless of their sexual orientation, is welcome in the Church. His meetings with LGBTQ+ activists and his participation in events that support this community are a testament to his inclusive approach. He believes that the Church must be a place of love and acceptance for all people. Financial transparency within the Vatican is another area where Pope Tagle has made significant strides. He understands that for the Church to maintain its credibility, it must be open and honest about its financial dealings. His efforts to bring greater transparency to the Vatican's finances are aimed at building trust and ensuring that the Church's resources are used for the greater good. By addressing these challenging issues head-on, Pope Tagle is paving the way for a more open and accountable Church. Pope Tagle's reformist agenda, while welcomed by many, also faced considerable opposition. Conservative factions within the Church, deeply entrenched in tradition and wary of change, viewed his initiatives with suspicion and resistance. Financial challenges also loomed large. The Vatican's finances, long shrouded in secrecy, were in dire need of reform. Tagle's commitment to transparency and accountability, while lauded by many, threatened to alienate powerful interests within the Church's hierarchy. The midnight coronation of Cardinal Luis Antonio Tagle marked a pivotal moment in the history of the Catholic Church. His papacy, though in its infancy, held the promise of ushering in an era of change and renewal. Tagle's focus on social justice, his commitment to interfaith dialogue, and his embrace of a more inclusive Church resonated with millions around the world. His papacy, shrouded in mystery from its very inception, promised to be anything but ordinary. Only time would tell how his vision for the Church would unfold on the world stage. Please subscribe to our channel History Documentary Hub for more insightful videos and intriguing content.